So the first match we did get was Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus, and I think Sheamus looked really good here. Sheamus looked a lot better than he normally does. Sheamus looked really good here. He locked on a chin lock early, but Kingston fought out and worked over the arm of Sheamus. Kingston sent Sheamus to the floor and followed it up with a huge trust fall dive. Sheamus regained control with a knee, though. Cesaro kind of interfered behind the referee's back, hit an uppercut on Kingston. After commercial break, Kingston fired back with some chops. He hit the boom drop and set up for Trouble in Paradise. Sheamus caught the leg and attempted the cloverleaf. Kingston hit a crossbody for a close near fall. Sheamus then attempted a brogue kick, but Kofi rolled him up for a 2. Kingston then hit the Trouble in Paradise again, this time getting the victory, though. So I think, like I said, Sheamus looked really, really good here. I have heard some things about Sheamus's, condition, his body and stuff. Some do feel like he doesn't have much time left, that he could, could be coming up towards retirement here soon. I mean, Sheamus is, let me look this up. Sheamus is... How old is Sheamus? Sheamus is, I want to say he's almost 40. Oh, he is 40. He's 41. So who knows how much longer Sheamus can go. He does have back issues and whatnot. He has been really working hard to get in better shape. We've noticed that over the last year, so we'll see. So after he defeats Sheamus, I liked also, throughout this gauntlet match, they kept showing in the back the baby faces watching. It started with just the New Day, then the Usos were there, then Mustafa Ali would show up, then the Hardys would show up, then you got Nikki Cross there. I loved that fact because it also, not only was it cool to see all the support for Kofi backstage, but also it gave us something else to look at while they were setting up for the next match. While Kofi got a little breather, while Mike Chioda, who had to referee this long match, got a little breather. So Sheamus was defeated. Cesaro was up next. Cesaro jumped Kingston right after pinning Sheamus since he was already out there ringside. Cesaro was firmly in control, but Kingston fought back. Kingston attempted a springboard crossbody, but Cesaro caught him, hit a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker for a near fall. After commercial break, Cesaro was firmly in control and locked on a cloverleaf submission. In a cool spot, Kingston tried to escape the submission, but Cesaro countered with a suplex. Cesaro attempted the neutralizer, but Kingston fought out of the hold. He then hit an SOS for the victory here on Cesaro. In the back, the New Day and the other babyfaces were just enthralled, loving seeing Kofi overcome the odds so far. So next up, we've got Rowan. And Rowan actually ends up getting disqualified here. I think if anybody should have got disqualified here, it should have been Samoa Joe. I don't think Joe should have been in this at all, since he is the United States champion. You don't want one of your champions actually going and being beat this close to WrestleMania. So I thought, when Rowan got disqualified, I was like, why couldn't Joe have got disqualified? Why couldn't Joe have been replaced by somebody else anyways? I mean, the perfect person that could have replaced Joe, I thought this. I saw a lot of other people online saying this as well. Rusev, and I'll talk about why I think Rusev would have been a good replacement once we get there. But Rowan jumped Kingston and dominated early. They then fought to the floor. Rowan then grabbed a chair, attacked Kofi with it, disqualification. Again, that could have been something we could have saw from Joe. Joe did not need to be pinned in this match when we do know that he's facing Rey Mysterio in about 3 weeks at WrestleMania with his U.S. title on the line. So after the disqualification, Rowan continued to beat down Kofi Kingston. Corey Graves pointed out that the New Day can't come and help him, or Kofi would be disqualified. Rowan gave Kingston the Iron Claw through the announce table. And then they show the New Day and all the baby faces in the back, and they're all really upset about this. It's like, New Day was banned from ringside. Nobody said the Usos, Mustafa Ali, the Hardys couldn't come out and help him, especially after the DQ had already occurred. That match in this gauntlet match was over. So next out was the United States champion Samoa Joe. Joe was firmly in control. Kingston tried to fight back, but Joe shut him down with a comeback, or shut his comeback down. Kingston fired up with chops, but Joe took over. Once again, he got his back. Joe rocked Kingston with a clothesline for a close near fall. Joe attempted the coquina clutch, but Kingston hit a jawbreaker. Joe hit a uranagi for a 2. The finish came when Joe went for the muscle buster. Teased it, loved the tease, but Kingston rolled him up for the victory. Joe was not happy that he lost here, and he choked Kofi out with the coquina clutch. Now here's my thing. I think this should have been Rusev, not Samoa Joe. I already said why I don't think this should have been Joe. Your U.S. champion, who is defending his title at Mania in just 3 short weeks, should not be losing, should not be taking no pins. He can lose by DQ. Okay, cool, whatever. You ready to do that with Rowan? Should have been Rusev. Rusev could have done the same thing. Rusev could have got rolled up, could have got pinned, got pissed off afterwards, and put him in his submission, the Accolade. We already saw the bar work over the back of Kofi, so putting him in the Accolade would have made sense. You've already got that back worked on earlier. Took a chair to the back, put him in the Accolade, more hurting of the back. So Kofi chants were coming from the roster in the back. They were like, let's go Kofi, 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 Kofi. Like he can hear them. Anyways. Out last was Randy Orton. Not only did this make sense because of the last Gauntlet match, Randy Orton beat Kofi at the end, but who's been Kofi's biggest singles rival? Randy Orton. So Orton beat Kofi around ringside. He held Kingston against the barricade and called him stupid. He said, this man is stupid. Kingston fought back and sent Orton into the steps. Orton regained control and slowed the pace down with a chin lock. Kingston fought back with hard chops. He attempted a drop kick, but Orton sidestepped the move. Orton attempted an RKO, but Kingston countered with a Trouble in Paradise. Kingston crawled over to Orton, but Orton rolled out of the ring. After commercial break, Orton and Kingston fought on the top turnbuckle. Todd Phillips pointed out that Kingston had lasted roughly 50 minutes at this point. Kingston attempted a crossbody, but Orton rolled through for a near fall. Orton then hit a draping DDT, set up an RKO. Orton attempted the RKO, but Kingston rolled him up for the victory. So Kofi had won here. It looked like Kofi was victorious. They announced him as going to WrestleMania to challenge Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. New Day, the other members, Big E and Xavier Woods, came out to celebrate, and suddenly Vince's music hit. Vince would nonchalantly congratulate Kofi Kingston on his victory. He then announced that, Kofi, you can go to WrestleMania if you can defeat one more opponent. And out would come the WWE Champion Daniel Bryan. He said, Xavier, Big E, you guys need to leave or Kofi forfeits this match. So they walk up the ramp. They make eye contact with Daniel Bryan as he's walking down the ramp. Daniel Bryan has not looked this much like the GOAT in a very long time. He's got the long hair. That beard is just as long as his hair. The GOAT is back, but in a good way, because this look is great for a heel. So we get Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. No title on the line, just the opportunity on the line. Bryan attacked Kofi with kicks in the corner. Bryan hit a huge backdrop off the top turnbuckle to Kofi. He applied the label lock, but Kofi made it to the ropes, barely getting his foot on them. Kingston hit the SOS for a close near fall. Kingston pretty much landed on his head. And he did this SOS. Daniel Bryan came down pretty hard. But also, Kofi landed right on the top of his dome. So then Bryan hit some running drop kicks in the corner. He hit about 3 or 4 of them. Kofi rolled him up for a near fall. Daniel Bryan kicks out. Kingston attempted a crossbody, but Bryan avoided it by moving out of the way, sidestepping. Finish of the match did come, though. Kofi Kingston took one of them Daniel Bryan running knees to the face and got pinned. 1, 2, 3. So essentially, we're supposed to think that Kofi is not going to WrestleMania. But here's the thing. Kofi is going to WrestleMania. We've got 2 more SmackDowns to put Kofi into this match, and it's going to happen. Just like at WrestleMania 30, when it came down to the wire, when we thought Daniel Bryan was not going to have a match at WrestleMania, not going to get an opportunity, he got an opportunity. Do we get Occupy SmackDown? Do we get the crowd rushing in on Kofi's behalf to be what do I say, in the ring with him like we saw with Daniel Bryan? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But all things considered, I do think Kofi is still getting the match. Everything I'm hearing, the plan is still Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. Their thought is, we screw this guy every which way this Sunday, a million different times before WrestleMania. The more we screw him, the more the crowd's behind him, the more all the different baby faces on SmackDown say support Kofi, they're going to support Kofi. And finally, he goes to Mania. Now, someone brought up a point to me that kind of changed my thought on, maybe Kofi can win this title at WrestleMania. What's the next big show after WrestleMania? That is actually the Saudi Arabia show. Who refused to go to the last Saudi Arabia show? Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan did not want to go to Crown Jewel. He's not going to want to go to this next one in May. So maybe they do take the title off of Daniel Bryan and put it on Kofi Kingston, so that way the WWE champion does ultimately go to Saudi Arabia, because, you know, the Prince is going to want the champion there. He's going to want the WWE champion there. Excuse me. So I don't know if that's possible. I mean, anything's possible at this point, but maybe they're screwing Kofi 6 ways to Mania for a reason, because the more times they beat him, the more the fans are going to get behind him, and then we're going to get what we want at WrestleMania with Kofi becoming the champion. Now, that's not what I want. I'm a Daniel Bryan fan through and through. But here's the thing. There is that possibility that Kofi wins. Maybe I'm wrong on the reason why. My reasoning of, you want the champion to go to Saudi Arabia, so you take the title off of Daniel Bryan if he won't go. You can always put the title back on him at Money in the Bank or something, but I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this all goes. I still believe Kofi is getting the match. I think Kofi is going to have a pretty good match with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. I think they've worked very hard building this up. Both guys work well together. We've seen that over the past month or so.